I'm Will Hedrick.
And I'm Jordan Schaffer.
And this is Dog Ears and Timestamps, a book club podcast.
Oh, dude, and my boss told me the other day that he thought I had a voice that sounded like dudes on a podcast. I was like, oh.
That's good. Did you tell him that I am a dude on a podcast?
Well, he said that after I told him I had a podcast. Because he was like, my friend has a podcast. And it's like on, like on iTunes. It's like, that doesn't exist anymore. No, I didn't say that because I didn't know until you told me. But, yeah, he was like, my friend's on all the platforms and stuff. So, like, he's got a podcast and he records one. I was like, oh, that's cool. I do that too. I've got like over 50 episodes. And he's like, oh, you sound like you would do a podcast. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool, you know? So that was good. Nice, yeah. I mean, that doesn't mean he's listening or
right,
anything,
yeah.
But that was kind of cool. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, at least I'm not like... I was always worried that I sounded super annoying. And I think sometimes it helps to listen to yourself again, you know? Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know if you can edit the way you talk, because you probably can't. But I think you can be kind of conscious of it, for sure. And especially if you're doing like a podcast or something, because then you can kind of make it sound different. But anyway, I just thought that was kind of funny because I was talking to him normal, and he's like, "Oh, you sound like you could be on a podcast." I was like, "Oh, well, cool, because that's good. I should."
That's good to hear.
So anyway, I thought that was funny. I literally didn't even remember until you said the intro.
Yeah.
Yeah. When did you read this week? You said you were trying to break it up?
Mostly last night.
Oh, okay.
I read like a few chapters earlier in the week. Or I guess later in the week. It's now a new week, but I read like 13 chapters last night.
Oh, nice. They weren't that long. A few of them were kind of long. Like,
yeah, they've all kind of been that way. Like whenever.
Yeah, it gives you a few
like
shorties
big things
and then,
happening, and yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, this book. It's so hard to tell. Like, I don't know if there's going to be a big twist or like if we're just because like there's got to be some. I mean, there's obviously going to be some big reveal that is unforetold.
Yeah, because right now we're still relatively aimless.
Yeah.
Like we know what the goal is. Obviously, is to save Evelyn.
Well, no,
or
I don't
to
even know. Well, that's his goal, right? That's
right. Yeah. The character that we're living with,
and his goal should be. To figure
escape,
out who murders her so that he can get out.
Part of it.
It seems like he's involved with Anna somehow, and he's like trying to fall for Evelyn.
I don't know that he's trying to fall for anybody.
I don't think anybody's trying to fall for anybody.
I think like
I'm building a love triangle.
He has like a character reveal about Aiden is in the way that he can't stand the idea of Evelyn dying. Because of the way that she's being made to like kill herself as part of like an embarrassment and everything like that, and just that whole idea is like abhorrent to him. Yeah,
because we find out in this episode that she was given, or in this episode, and then in this set of chapters that she was given like a note, right, and told to kill herself.
Yeah.
At 11.
Right, yeah.
Or else, like, her friend, like,
someone close to
like
her would
secret
be
lover,
hurt
right?
instead, yeah. So who knows?
I think it was, like, her secret lover.
It just says someone you love.
Her secret lover, then. And who's, like, the stable boy.
Right.
Nice.
So we know at least a thing about Aiden Bishop now. Just, like, a part of his character that, he's kind of standing for this... not standing for the injustice of the situation that Evelyn's in. Yeah. More so than literally getting out of there on his own. And he also had evidently and I think this got revealed in the last section of chapters. I can't remember exactly when, but it was revealed that he had come to Blackheath to get into this game willingly.
Yeah, he'd done it intentionally. I thought that was. I'm waiting for the big twist to be like, we're trying to solve this cold case. So we've reinvented it in a digital medium so that the detective can go back and find and
it's
relive
some sort
this
of VR thing.
Yeah, and like they're stuck in the VR until they figure it out, you know. And then when they figure it out, it's like, oh, okay, you've done your 40 for the week or whatever.
Right. They've been doing it for a really long time.
I don't think. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I don't think obviously that's the case. It's not some sort of Assassin's Creed type thing, but yeah, I thought that might be a fun. Twist
that would be an interesting reveal.
It would be interesting if technology took a twist that way too. Like if we do start to recreate things in a digital sense like that, and then reliving through people's through people's perspectives. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure once we're recording everything, like literally everything all the time that we see, like once we're all like, and we like especially if we augment our reality, you know, like if we start wearing like augmented reality glasses and everything's kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then something like that might happen. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, there's got to be some sort of, because like we were saying, we're still kind of aimless.
Yeah.
As to, what it is that's happening. We get a couple of reveals like it's, potentially likely, or not even likely. This is what Aiden's, stuck on right now, because Aiden's kind of stupid. Or he like gets an idea and that can be the only answer until someone grabs him by the shoulders and shakes him and says that's not the answer. I know,
right? Like it has to be right in front of his face. It seems like in a lot of these situations.
He can't even. It doesn't seem, and like has been revealed to us several times now. He takes on the traits of the host that he's in.
I was just about to bring
when
up.
he was Ravencourt. If he had been Ravencourt at a later time, it might have been. I feel like it would have been more beneficial because then he would.
Because he's like smart.
Because he's real smart, but then would have had the time to have all the new clues and to try to figure it out.
Well, the guy
where he spent a lot of time with Ravencourt fighting it for like the first half of the day, before he was really like, okay, well, this is where we are. This is what I have to do.
Yeah, and the weight was definitely.
Now he's more dedicated.
Well, the guy he is now, isn't he like
He's a lawyer.
Yeah.
And he's pretty smart, but he doesn't have the same level of intelligence that Ravencourt has.
No, he seems to kind of do his law work through intimidation factors more than anything.
He's way more blunt than, conniving.
Yeah.
Not even that Ravencourt was conniving, but...
No, Ravencourt was just smart. He was like a banker.
He was more subtle.
Yeah. And one kind of nice thing that we learned, too, was that... the Hardcastle, like, what's her dad's name? Evelyn? Peter, like, he was giving his daughter away to, oh, God, why am I drawing a blank? We literally just said his name.
The Ravencourt.
Ravencourt, yeah. Like, that he was giving her to Ravencourt, and that Ravencourt was like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to do anything with her. Like, I'll just marry her for the name and, like, save the family. He's not interested in, like... Yeah. I don't know. I just thought that was funny that they kind of had the agreement, like, okay, they'll just marry them for title and claim.
Yeah,
and she'll just have her like she'll have her like her pool boys and stuff that she'll have affairs with.
Right. So from that perspective, it's then not nearly as devastating as whenever it just like initially gets revealed.
Well, it doesn't seem like a suicide sort of situation though. Like a situation where if you were dealing with a disgusting rapist kind of guy, that was taking advantage of you all the time, that would be maybe kill yourself worthy. And then you could think like, okay, well, she killed herself because of her dad. Her dad's a murderer because her dad's the one that killed her because he forced her to get married to Ravencourt. And then, but I mean,
but it was never going to be anything like that.
I know,
because
you can't blame
because there's like a literal murder. Well, I don't even mean that. Just like story wise, like it would never have been like the answer is her father because he not even convinced her, but just like did a thing that led her to believe she had to kill herself because she, while physically yes is killing herself, it was being forced by somebody. Yeah, so the answer was never going to be like
That's what I'm waiting like. I don't. That's what I can't make out. Like, if it's gonna be a big twist or just a big reveal, like how she's forced or like how they're. I don't know how they're. I don't know.
There's another rule to the mechanics of this universe that's yet to be revealed. I think.
Yeah.
Because we've got the three players: Anna, the Footman, and Aiden. Anna seems to have more of her memories, but she doesn't change bodies.
Yeah.
Aiden has next to none of his memories and changes bodies. The Footman seems to not change bodies either, but immediately knows whoever Aiden's going to be.
I have a feeling that there's another person too. I think that he has because they keep talking about like a rival that he has out there.
Well, the rivals are the Anna and the Footman.
I think that he's got another one. The way it keeps coming out to me when I listen to it, at least maybe it is more obvious written down. But
it would be weird for the play doctor to lie about that, though.
I don't think he's lying about it, though. Like he hasn't.
He says there's three people. He says there's three of y'all.
not including our guy, is what I was thinking. I was thinking that there were three people that he was playing against. You know what I mean? Or playing with.
I don't remember the exact wording, but he says there's three of you.
In my head, it was there are three others. That's kind of the way I heard it. It might maybe I kind of made it that way myself. So, but because I've been kind of thinking this whole time that there's another person that we don't know who it is, other than the Footman. But I mean, the Footman is a good enough third. He's just like an ominous, evil bad guy. He seems like the guy that's just like he knows who you are, but not where you are. So, but he's coming. Right. He's gonna get you. And that's the end of your one of your 8 lives.
Right.
At the end of this section, though, it said that he still had 4 bodies left, and I was like, "What? No, he doesn't."
Well, because he still has the butler and the kid that he tried to run away with.
Yeah, that's true.
So he still is going to go back to them at some point. And so, you know, counting... What's his fucking name right now?
The lawyer that he is?
Edward... something...
I know this is another reason that I was I kind of wish that like I was reading it or had like a hard copy like paper so that I could look back because it gives you the list of everyone's name on the invitation, you know, because it was nice to flip back and forth because it literally told you who they were, like their association or not their association, their affiliation with the Blackheath.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but I think. Not counting the solicitor that he is right now, he's got, we now know Gold, the artist that beats up the butler, is his next host, presumably, because he's in 6 and that'll be 7, and then Danny's 8.
8, yeah.
And then, but he also has the 2 that he goes back to. He goes back to the butler every time he falls asleep.
He still has butler time.
And then he's got time with the, whatever that kid's name is. Yeah, Donaldson or something like that.
Yeah, hopefully he just like calls the cops or something with that guy.
Yeah.
Like, hey, there's gonna be a murder.
Right.
Where? At the black.
Well, the thing is that the Blackheath estate is some sort of bubble, so he's not going to be able to get to town. It's a little impossibility.
He didn't even make it that far.
He tried to. He walked for 8 hours and didn't get anywhere.
I thought he drove off in a car.
The car stops and runs out of gas.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry.
And then he continues to walk for another 8 hours. So
what a waste of time.
They're definitely in like it's like a bubble of an existence on the Blackheath estate. Presumably, he didn't get any further with the walk. He just couldn't get out. So it might only take him an hour and a half to get back, you know?
That'd be nice. That would be so dumb.
It'd certainly be convenient.
He's just stuck out there, out in the void.
Right. So... He's like, essentially just walking up against an invisible wall for 8 hours.
We definitely called it that he was going to be in the hunt soon, because he...
Yeah, well, we knew at the very least he had to have been when he got to Danny.
For sure.
But potentially beforehand, depending on who it was that he was going to end up being.
I'm not sure how I feel about Danny. I know that's supposedly eighth him, but it's like the personality of Danny seems kind of slimy to me, He seems kind of sketchy, and I feel like there's going to be some sort of like...
Well, there's definitely... there's something that happens to Gold, the artist.
Okay.
Where he's, loses his mind almost.
Yeah.
Because that's how this section that we started doing, or part, once we got, past being in the other bodies and got into this dude's body. He wakes up to Gold banging on the door saying, hey, it's me, you, us. Whenever don't get out of the carriage, blah blah blah. The footman doesn't stop cutting and blah blah blah. Something had happened to him at that point, like at 5 a.m. or whenever that is. So Aiden presumably experiences a lot that changes him into the person that he is as Danny. And then there's also the mentality of Danny, because
we were talking about that, how he takes on a little bit of their persona.
Mm-hmm. And even whenever they're walking, whenever they first start the hunt, and Danny Coleridge comes up to Aiden in the solicitor's body. He's like, hey, you should enjoy yourself. Being in that body is great. It's way better than being in Danny's body, because fighting Danny's personality is the most exhausting thing I've done yet.
Oh, yeah. Every day, too, he gets weaker. They were saying, like, each day, more and more of their personality kind of, like, leaks out.
It becomes harder to fight it, yeah.
Which almost makes it seem like...
Which started with, what's his name? Darby.
Darby.
Yeah. It starts with Darby, where he starts to kind of notice...
literal body.
Yeah.
Holding him back. No, I'm just kidding.
But he starts having more trouble holding back the personality. It seems to at least be illustrated by starting with Darby. But Darby's
That's
a pretty...
That's when he definitely notices it the most,
strong personality.
Yeah.
And then whenever he wakes up in the current host, the solicitor, he's like constantly fighting with like all the manners that are like, part of this dude's like very rigid code of how he conducts himself and stuff like that. And so, if it gets harder and harder and harder, and then Danny Coleridge has like a soul as black as pitch, as he describes it, then it must be, extremely difficult.
It seems like more often than not, the people that he is aren't like exactly above board, they all seem to have a little bit of like
well, that's what they keep saying, is that nobody in this house is. They're all
I guess
bad
that's
people.
really the thing. Yeah, it's just like a house of baddies.
I mean, Evelyn didn't even flinch when she saw the artist strung up in the room. And she's given to be the person that we're into.
Yeah.
So, like, there's
right.
nobody in this existence that's, pure to any degree. Maybe the very young, stable boy that we run into not periodically, but very briefly.
Maybe we get to be him.
Well, we know who 7 and 8 are already, so.
No, do we? Who are they?
Golden Danny.
Oh, yeah. And he's on 6? Yeah, that's why I didn't think he had 4 left, because he has the butler and the other guy.
Yeah.
Man, and there's still 20 chapters left.
Yeah.
So I guess we were right, though. He only went through 2 more hosts, but he flew through. He went back.
Now that he's determined to do the thing, he's going to be trying to get more done, so there's more to tell, so those chapters are longer.
And he hopped back into the butler body, but
as opposed to with what's his name, with Sebastian Bell, he's just like passed out half the time.
Yeah.
Because he keeps fucking up.
What do you think about the guy with the
plague doctor?
Plague doctor, yeah. What do you think about how he was talking to the main guy about how he thought that, or how it was like, I set it up so that you would be born in this order, or not born,
right.
But
he's been like tweaking it because they've been doing it like thousands. I think he finally asked him how many loops have there been. And the plague doctor says thousands.
Yeah, just lots and lots and lots.
So, yeah, he's evidently like the original rule was that, and the plague doctor also keeps saying we. So it's not just him that runs this show. There's like an organization of sorts that runs the show.
A bunch of
or he's just using the royal we.
Yeah.
So, but whatever. He, I guess like the original rule was that you would wake up as the next host in order of who wakes up first during the day.
Yeah.
So he would have first been with that little boy, or not little boy, but that young man that he wastes the whole time with, because he wakes up like at 4 a.m. or something like that. He wasn't getting anywhere, and so the plague doctor was like, well, let's tweak the order. This seems to be the most optimal order for how you can experience everything and gain clues more quickly.
So is the plague doctor good? I guess they even said that God, what's our guy's name? Aiden. They even said that Anna said that Aiden was like his little special plaything, like his special project or whatever.
Yeah, because Aiden's definitely the one who has the greatest advantage because he gets to be different people and see everything from different perspectives. So yeah, for whatever this thing is that's happening, this game or whatever it is, he's definitely the focus for the plague doctor. Yeah. The plague doctor wants him to succeed. Want might not even be the right word, but is gearing everything for Aiden to succeed.
Yeah.
And it's probably because Aiden was the one who arrived willingly, whereas the footmen and Anna were brought against their will.
Yeah, yeah. I really like all the scenes in it when he this is kind of completely different change of thought, but I really like just the scenes when he remembers what happened in the previous time and is just like, oh, okay, this is going to happen, so I got to do this. I like it when he thinks that, he doesn't just do that thing. He says like, oh yeah, this happened last time. But I guess as we noticed, things don't always happen the same every time now.
There's one thing that changed it wasn't even like a big change because, Evie still killed herself.
Big.
And then, well... It's just that Michael Hardcastle doesn't immediately go to her. He instead charges Aiden, who's in Darby's body at that time, standing at that rock that Anna put down. And so, the literal event changed, but nothing, it didn't mean anything.
No, yeah.
All it means is that it can change,
Yeah, but nothing, but like you just said, nothing really big even... nothing major even changed. Right.
It's just a storytelling mechanic to let Aiden know that, it can be affected and it can be changed. Don't despair.
But despair because it doesn't change enough because she still dies. So still despair.
Right.
No, I'm kidding. But that's what I was. That's the thought that just crossed my mind. Like maybe that was showing him too that it is futile. Like even if it changes a little bit, it's not going to change the major outcome. Like Evelyn still dies.
Right, but even at that moment, he wasn't trying to change it.
No, I know. It did change.
Just did.
Though. Yeah. So that was cool to find out. Who killed Evelyn Hardcastle? Well,
some character that may have not been revealed yet.
Yeah, somebody we don't know yet.
Because we keep and now we know that the next host is gold, and then as we've been told since very early on, Danny is the final form.
I want it to not be Danny. Like I want there to be another person. There were always three, and just I was right the whole time. No, just kidding. That would be funny though. It wouldn't fit with how you've been reading the story.
It would. I mean,
but this whole time I've been thinking like I don't like Danny. I think he's sketchy.
A couple of more really large reveals, obviously.
Yeah.
Right. But it just
I'm sketched out by Danny.
Doesn't make any sense that the Plague Doctor would lie about that.
Well, didn't Danny tell him that he was the eighth one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not the Plague Doctor.
Well, the Plague Doctor is saying that there's only 3 people there. You're saying.
Oh, I thought that he said that there were 3 others.
No. The Plague Doctor says there's 3 of you trying to do this. You, Anna, and the Footman.
See, I read it differently, I guess. No, I mean, I definitely did. Because I was thinking this whole time that, like... Because when Danny sketched me out so hard, I was thinking, like, oh, maybe he's, like, the other one. And he's been lying this whole time saying that he was the 8th, the 8th body incarnate. But then I was like, but then the 8th incarnate of him would just go up and be like, he's lying. But then I was thinking like, well, maybe he's like some old person that can't do anything, or maybe he's just, or some peasant that has no say or power, but he can still figure stuff out. Or, I was just trying to think of some way to make it fit, but doesn't always fit.
Yeah.
And you think there's going to be any big like supernatural or paranormal reveal? Because like we already kind of got one big one as we were reading.
Well, I think that the nature of this book is supernatural, because they're, this is a person's consciousness that's transferring host bodies, and they all exist at the same time. But during this thing that's looped thousands of times. Yeah.
So you don't think it's going to be like Assassin's Creed?
No. Okay. I think.
Or the Matrix.
With and also, the Plague Doctor seems to have some level of power. He, is always at the right, and of course he's experienced this day, thousands of times. So he probably has every action of every person memorized down to the second. But he's always at the right spot that he needs to be. He sort of just appears places. The fact that the second host can't get out of the estate, walks in a straight line for 8 hours and never gets anywhere. I mean, I think that the nature of this is supernatural.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's fair. I guess I'm more meant, like, do you think anything...
like someone's just going to fly through the sky or something like that? Like something overtly...
maybe not necessarily flying like that obvious, but like something maybe like... I mean, I guess I was thinking something obvious, like something magical. I guess I wanted to happen, but I don't know how that would happen without already have been talking about.
Yeah, I don't think that someone suddenly cast a spell or anything like that. I don't think there's anything that's like just.
It's just that this situation is supernatural, but everything else seems very normal. Yes, I mean, who wrote the note that told her to do it?
Right.
And then
there's this new, or like we were saying earlier, that Aiden, is so focused on the one thing, and never considers other options. His current thing is that Helena is behind everything.
It feels good, but I don't believe it.
It's in the same way that every other single track theory that Aiden's had so far has been wrong. Like this one's going to be wrong too, Yeah. That's my only issue with the story so far, is that every initial thing that we're being given ends up being wrong until the end when it finally is right,
I gotcha, yeah.
As opposed to, and there's definitely like a million things going on, and you can create your own ideas as to what might be going on, but like we're not given enough to really try and figure it out, or even to come up with different theories, because there's still several characters several dozen characters that we haven't even met that may or may not matter in any way.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's as we've been like this section to me, it just felt it was very engaging. It was really interesting, but I wasn't able to really figure anything out, which is fine. But it just felt like
it's
okay, we made it through 2 more people, so now we're getting closer to the end. We're gonna get the meat of this situation. I mean, this is good information.
It's just really linear, which is great.
Yeah,
it's just it's a really fun on rails ride. As opposed to it being just like an open world
it's funny.
Of possibilities that we try to, we gather all the strings and see what happens and where it goes. That's just so funny because this is the path we're going down.
No, that's so funny because the book tells you like this is what happens. It's a linear thing. You can't change it. But it makes it out to be like he can change and influence the whole thing. But it's like this linear ride that we're going on. It's almost like an optical illusion. But
right, yeah, I mean, it's kind of meta.
Yeah, this book. I'm gonna recommend this book to people.
Absolutely, it's extremely enjoyable. It's not the kind of mystery thriller so far, unless I'm just missing a lot of things that gives the opportunity for you to try to come up with other theories.
It's really fun to listen to. Honestly, the audio narrator does a great job. He changes voices when you go into different heads. That I think I was talking earlier about how in the Good Omens podcast about how like. Subtitles they have different names for who like is talking in the background or whatever. It'll tell you like, oh, that was Jeffrey saying whatever in the corner, and I'll be like, oh, okay, cool. I couldn't really tell from his voice because he was hacking up a lung, and that's Jeffrey coughing over there, or you can't tell somebody from their cough. So that's really interesting too, because the chapters are always like day 2 continued, not day 2, but it's like well, I guess it is day 2, but it's like day 4 continued. So I guess you should know who it is based on that. But it's cool to hear the voice because I don't know who it is based on that. It doesn't just pop in my head like, oh yeah, that's who he was right on day whatever. Right. It's just like he does the voice, and I was like, oh, cool. Like I knew who they were, even though I hadn't listened to the first part of the book. You know what I mean? Like I read the first 20 chapters, and then hopping in on chapter 21 with the audiobook, it was. I knew who these voices were, oddly enough. You know what I mean? Like he did a great job with the voices. So great casting with that audio narrator. And the one drawback from the audio though, and it being a thriller, is that, like I said, I think there is something to be gained from having to look at something and being able to like stop and look at it and reread and think and even flip back, and maybe because that I've so many times wanted to look at the map of the estate and the guest list to see who's who and who does what, and where they even if where they rank matters on the guest list. If maybe there's or like if they're going in order, or if I can find any sort of clue and connector. Like I don't think there is one, but I want to find something just like that was obvious. Several times they've said in the book that like he goes into a room and there's a book that's been dog-eared to several pages. I'm like, oh, you need to see what's on those dog-eared pages because you've noticed it twice now. I know it doesn't really matter. Probably,
Dr. Dickey is that's how we find out that Dr. Dickey is in league with Sebastian Bell for the drug business.
Well, see, there we go.
And then I just looked it up because it was driving me insane that I couldn't remember the current host's name. It's Dance, Edward Dance. And I should remember that because while I was reading it, I kept saying Charles Dance in my head, which is incorrect. Charles Dance is an actor. He plays Tywin in Game of Thrones.
That can be who is this guy? Because isn't it an older guy?
Yeah, he's in his 60s or something like that. In the movie that comes out for this, it'll be Charles Dance. Charles Dance is the best part of Game of Thrones.
I'll be the voice of Aiden. I'll be Aiden's voice.
You'll be Aiden, that little voice that comes out with one-liners every now and then.
No, I'll be the plague doctor. Wait, what's it called? Doctor? He's plague doctor? Yeah, I'll be plague doctor. Because you can put on a mask, and I get too emotional sometimes. So if I say something embarrassing, I'd probably cry, yeah. So being the witch doctor, I'd probably be okay. Mm-hmm. And then when he takes off my mask, and I'll be like, oh, I'm your dad this whole time, or whatever, Then I could cry because they'd need me to cry. But up until that point, I'd need to hide my face because I'd be too embarrassed. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so I think I'd need to be the plague doctor.
Okay. I wonder. And I mean, I know last time we decided that he probably wasn't. He seems to be immortal, but I wonder what the plague doctor is. maybe he is a human. I mean, he's just a magic human. But he seems to be immortal because he says he's got that line about, like, I don't know why we're doing this. Eternity's boring. And
Yeah,
like,
maybe
so
that's what my
happening?
question should have been, rather than do you think another supernatural thing is going to happen? It should have been like, what is the answer behind the Plague Doctor? Not necessarily who killed Evelyn.
Yeah.
Evelyn Hardcastle. Like, what is the
What's
Plague
the deal
Doctor?
with the Plague
Yeah,
Doctor?
because like if you figure,
what is this organization that he may belong to? Just because he says we a lot. Yeah. I think that he's right now. My biggest question is just what is up with the Plague Doctor.
Yeah.
I kind of don't care about some of the other things because I think that knowing that this is, or not knowing, but feeling like this is just a very linear journey that we're on for this book, the answers will come. I don't need to try and figure them out.
I don't think we can figure it out really yet.
But I want to know what the Plague Doctor
I do too. I do too.
That's the question that I think is, so there's like a couple of questions that we have right now. Who is it that's pulling the strings behind Evie's death? Who are our three characters, the Footman, Anna, and Aiden? Like, who are they as people? And what the fuck is up with the Plague Doctor? I think those are the three things that matter more than anything.
Yeah. Yeah, the Plague Doctor is the big question. I mean, obviously we want to know who killed Evie, because that's like that's the title of the book.
Right.
And supposedly that will free him, or free Aiden from this curse or whatever. But that doesn't solve the bigger issue that this guy is cursing people for eternity.
Right.
Until they figure that's probably not cool.
Well, it seems to be the motive that I think I have.
You figured it out.
That this happened. Evelyn dies in this way, and it wasn't right. And the Plague Doctor says so much in the first section of reading that we did. And then whenever Aiden has that, almost a self-actualization moment when he's talking with Anna in the gatehouse, and he sort of realizes how he feels about the whole situation, or how Aiden feels about the whole situation, and he tries to grab onto that memory, but he couldn't, quite get it. Yeah. He has a memory of having lost somebody that was close to him. And it was a bit of an injustice as well. Mm-hmm. And so that's why he volunteered to do this thing at Blackheath, because he's like, well, I couldn't fix that, but I can fix this. And
and I guess, I mean...
So whatever the Plague Doctor's thing is, it seems to be, even if he's just like,
You're right, I forgot that it was like self-induced. No, I mean...
If it's like... I don't think that the Plague Doctor is necessarily good, but... Or bad, or anything. If he's just an immortal, he's just an immortal as they very commonly get depicted. He's just, ambivalent. It's just like, well, this will be a fun thing to do for a couple hundred years. Yeah. So here's an opportunity for me to have these people play this game, and this person wants to try to right this thing, because that will then represent to him that he can right wrongs when he couldn't right the wrong in his own life. And I'll just make that happen, and I'm going to bring in a couple of other players as well to make it interesting for me. That seems to be what it is that's happening from the Plague Doctor's side. But that is making an assumption that he's some sort of supernatural creature that has that ability. And he may just be like a person. So far as we can tell,
that seems to be the case.
Yeah. The only thing that kind of puts it on its head a little bit is the organization thing. Him saying we all the time. That was like a new thing that I caught up on, or picked up on this section of reading, that kind of threw me off. I don't really know. That's my current theory. Yeah. I have no theory as to who it is that's killing Evie. I think that the obvious and kind of boring and lazy answer is that it turns out that it's not Aiden, but Aiden's character that's been created by him having all these hosts, that he's the one that kills Evie. Yeah. Or does the note and everything, and like that's the self-realization is that you create your own problems or something like that. That would be like the really boring reveal in my opinion.
So it's like this is the immortalization of hell, and he's stuck on this endless journey of like failure.
Yeah. That
blah.
Like I feel like finding out that you're your own worst enemy, and that you create your own problems and all that sort of stuff is like an idea that's been done to death, and I'm so sick of it. I would hate for that to be how this ends.
Yeah, I mean, but that could be how it ends, or it could just be like a new character that we haven't met yet, which that would be kind of disappointing too. I mean, if it was
to just suddenly introduce someone that meant nothing, except for the fact that they did it, that would be disappointing as well.
Yeah. So my biggest thing, since we know the Plague Doctor and we've known him for so long, is I think I'm more concerned with with who he is and what his deal is, rather than who killed Evie, though that will supposedly get the curse to stop. But it seems like the Plague Doctor wants him to figure it out. So, I don't know.
Right.
It'll be a good next 20 chapters. I honestly, today when I was listening to it, I didn't really want to stop. Like I started trying to listen to like a podcast to get into like a funny laughing mood, and then I was like, no, I'm just gonna re-listen to it, and I just started re-listening to it.
Right.
And it was great. This book is so
it's
good, man.
Really exciting. It's really engaging. When I was reading, pretty much everything last night, I was like, I'm gonna read, maybe 6 or 7 chapters, and I'm gonna go to sleep because I was really tired. Like I was saying, either in the Good Omens podcast or in this episode, I was, really hungover all day yesterday, and I was like, I just need to go to fucking sleep. I'll wake up like at 9 and I'll finish reading then. And then all of a sudden it's like 2 o'clock and I finished the section of reading, and I was like, well, okay, well, I guess I did it.
Nice, yeah.
But I guess to your point, there's just like there was never any point that I felt like I didn't want to be reading it anymore.
Right, yeah. I get kind of ADD when I read. Like, I'll sit there and I'll read, like, if I'm reading all day, I guess it's not even ADD. Like, I'll be reading and I'll be like, okay, I can get up and go pee or something, like, after I'm done with this chapter, and then I'll move to a different spot, and then I'll be more comfortable, and then I'll like fall asleep as I'm reading it. And it always gets me, because like I'll end up like starting in a good spot, like basically just sitting at the dining room table reading. I'll start there for an hour or two, and then like I'll move in to eventually where I'm like kind of laying down reading, and then I fall asleep. But then I don't know how I want to take in the last little section, if I'm going to read it or if I'm going to listen to it. Like I said, the audio has been really good. Sometimes it's just like, obviously just like shows and authors, and it all depends on who does it. But this one is really good.
Yeah.
I've been really, really liking it. Just like the book. So, I don't know how I want to take in this last little bit. I mean, and like you said, I think it's very linear, and I think it's just kind of going to give us the answers as they come about. But
yeah, there's going to be...
I think that the most logical thing is probably going to be what you ended up saying, though, like the loop.
Oh, God, yeah. I would be really upset. I think that there's going to be some huge reveal right at the time that we're done with dance. And then we get something big with Gold as well. Because he, like we said earlier, he, has lost his mind. Yeah.
Maybe...
And so we see some sort of big thing with him. Yeah. He has a very... dramatic interaction with the footman as Gold. And so we learned something there. And then that is part of what forms Daniel Coleridge Aiden. And, that's where... Because Daniel Coleridge knows so much more than all the previous Aidens. Like so much more. Crazy amount more. Yeah, that's so there's something that we're going to see and experience that is huge and turns everything on its head. And that either happens with Gold, or it happens in one of the times that we get back to the butler that we haven't yet.
The memory of every other time that he's done it.
Or maybe something with the kid that he wasted the day with, like, gets one last little clue that ties it together, and then 8th day Aiden knows it all, or whatever. Not even all of it, but substantially more than we know. Yeah. Because at that point, since we're him, we have to know what it is.
Just give me the answers. Give me the answers.
So there's a lot that's going to happen very quickly, I think.
That's what it feels like. And
there's going to be a period of time where we're jumping back and forth between Gold and the butler, like, several times, because they're both in and out of consciousness constantly. Certainly after Gold gets strung up, anyways. Prior to that, he's conscious the whole time, I guess. Maybe not necessarily during his interaction with the footman. Maybe he gets knocked out or something during that fight. But when he gets strung up in the gatehouse across the hall from the butler, there's going to be a weird... I feel like there's going to be a weird couple of chapters where we're back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And there's like a lot of reveal that's happening in that back and forth. Yeah. That can only be told through that kind of event. I think that'll be really interesting.
Do you think that that Anna is going to... How is Anna going to betray him, do you think? Because that's a big thing that we're
Yeah,
like
because that's the other thing is
for.
like Aiden doesn't want to believe everything that the plague doctor says because
why do you want to believe him?
Because he just resents him for this game that's being played.
Yeah.
But maybe the plague doctor isn't lying about anything. There's definitely some things that he hasn't said.
Yeah.
But maybe he's not lying about any of it. And so if he isn't, then Anna will betray him. And how does that happen? Does it happen because then maybe Aiden, changes the loop and so then doesn't give Anna a reason to betray him?
Did he tell? Did 8th Day Aiden know how Anna betrayed him? Or did...
Not
Did we ask him?
No, we didn't ask him.
What a dork. Should have asked him. Hey, I want to know all the answers. That's what I'd ask future me.
Right.
No, but then he's like, but I can't tell you because it'll mess up the timeline.
He did ask
mess
him
up the timeline
some
then.
stuff when he was Belle.
Your timeline's busted. Mine.
Well,
we got to mess up and fix.
8th Day Aiden's got a plan, and it depends on everything that has happened continuing to happen the way it did.
Timeline.
Dude, he says he has a plan.
I know. I feel like this loop of characters, like it's just one of them's just got to bite the bullet and be like, all right, well, like I'm not gonna make it, but the next me will make it, and it's all really me to begin with, so it doesn't matter if I don't make it, but I gotta start making some changes in this time, in this multiverse of realities that's happening, and like I feel like one of them's gonna have to like maybe like the character that we are, like Aiden doesn't get it as 8th Day Aiden, but he leaves like a clue that makes it so that as Belle, when he redoes it again, he's like, oh, and then we get like a little glimpse of like he figured it out like right away, and then or something, you know what I mean? Like maybe,
but there's no.
I don't think that would be it.
There wouldn't. It would be impossible for him to leave a physical clue.
No, you're right, because they'd be leaving something from the future in the past.
Yeah,
but
it would have to be some sort of mental
like something
unlocking.
That he carried back with him.
But I think and like we touched on last week, I think the point of this being the instance of the loop that we experience is that this is the one that breaks.
Right. That's what I'm waiting for. So, I'm waiting for the big thing, or I'm waiting for him to do the thing that makes it so that the next one. You know what I mean? Like he's either the catalyst for the next one of him to win, or he's the one that is the one that wins. But he's got to beat the game, right?
Right.
Otherwise, it's a series.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And we get the 8.5 deaths.
Yeah, exactly. Or the 15 deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle.
Yeah, it just doubles.
I'm gonna check out this author too. Like I don't know if he's written a bunch more thriller books or if this is his first stab at it, but I'm enjoying it. It's a fun mystery, and
yeah, I would.
It might be fun to even look into
stuff that he does.
Yeah, I mean, as our next book is coming up, obviously, it might be fun to look into like the mystery thrillers like this one, because I feel like that's been really engaging so far, and I know that that's a popular genre. I know that the murder porn shows, like how they're just like like a husband kills wife because she's a cheating bitch, or not even that, but just like it's just like it's just like homicide, homicide, but it's always killing too. So it's like always somebody killing somebody, and people go crazy for that. So I mean, there's got to be some great thriller mysteries too. So I wonder if this guy's written more, and I wonder if it is going to be just straight forward fed to us. You know what I mean? Or if it's going to be just kind of like, since you said we might be hopping around personalities, if it might just be kind of like, oh shit, oh what's happening, and then right at the end we kind of figure it all out, or I don't think it's going to be an info dump kind of like the last book we had, but I think it's going to be, kind of more of like a okay.
Right.
Like it's over. It's over now.
We have to get up to whatever Danny's knowledge is.
I think
since we're going to be him at some point.
Yeah.
And so, what is it that gets us up to that point? And then there will still be something else after that outside of Aiden. Mm-hmm. But
I feel like it's gonna have a very Black Mirror kind of ending. Like something that like okay, I'm satisfied, but all right. You know what I mean? Like okay, that's good, but. Not exactly what I was hoping. It's not. I don't think it's going to be just a happy ending. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like I think it's going to be a very
No, I agree.
A very
Yeah,
interesting
I think
ending.
yeah.
I think it's going to be a unique ending. Not just the Aiden wins. And Anna was his girlfriend the whole time, and they both remembered that they were actually married and they have kids that they're going home to, and he did save her. And the foot soldier was actually their friend. Jeremy, and he saved all of them. Jeremy. But I think it's going to be some sort of kind of ending we have to, not that we have to put together ourselves, but I think it's going to be a kind of ending that, definitely not an infant I think it's going to be something sort of like, kind of just like, all right, it's over. And then we just sort of have to sit there and think about it. Like, it's going to tell us everything, but it's going to make you sit there and be like, oh, wow, okay, I'm going to need a sec. Like, just like how Black Mirror does it too in Twilight Zone, and that kind of, I'm getting that vibe from it at least, and I want it to keep going that way, And
yeah.
Even though those endings are kind of like, they make you feel hollow inside, they're not necessarily the best endings, but I think it's going to be a satisfying ending, and it's going to be like, man, I never saw that coming, but oh, man, that was yeah, that's exactly what would have happened.
Right. There's a lot riding on what the fuck is Helena Hardcastle doing?
I have
Because
no idea.
one person has seen her during this day, Cunningham, Ravencourt's valet.
Yeah.
He's the only person, aside from maybe a servant here or there, that has actually physically seen Helena Hardcastle through this day.
She's killing
what is she doing?
Evelyn. She's writing the letter. Nah, I have no idea. I mean, she does have it out for her. She hates her. And she's the one that had the bastard
I don't know
kid,
that she necessarily hates her. I believe Peter Hardcastle's assessment of the situation.
Okay.
I think that they're, in the same way that he loves Evelyn, in a very filial sense, but doesn't really care about Evelyn and cares more about the family's fortune and name than anything. Mm-hmm. I think that Helena is, so upset and never forgave Evelyn for having left Thomas alone to then be put in a position of being able to be killed, but still does literally love her daughter, just is very emotionally stunted and unable to deal with the grief that was brought onto the family, and this is how she deals with it in a very bad way.
Yeah.
I don't think she's trying to kill Evelyn, though. That's obviously what Aiden thinks right now, because Aiden is, stupid. But I think that maybe Helena's dead already. Maybe that's the reveal. And that, in finding her corpse, then leads to whatever the next thing is, or whatever. I don't know. I have a feeling that Helena's dead. Just that nobody can find her.
Yeah, we haven't seen her yet.
Maybe, no, that doesn't make sense.
Vampire?
Vampire. We also still need to find out what it is that Cunningham's secret is that he gets blackmailed with.
Yeah, or that was just a lucky guess.
That's something that has to get found. What is it that he's doing? Because he's kind of running around doing things for the different editions of Aiden here and there that we don't really get a lot of answers for. Like he brings Darby that note one time that just says all of them. Mm-hmm. And says, I gathered some people for you, like the other you wanted me to do, and he said that you would understand if I just told you that. But Darby didn't understand it. Mm-hmm. So there's obviously something going on with Cunningham, who's Helena's son, not Peter's, like we had initially been led to believe. No. There's definitely a lot of things going on, and none of them are paths that I can yet follow.
No, me neither. These are too hard to guess.
It's not like I can say, oh, the wife of the dude across the street is the whatever her stupid name was, and bring me back.
Oh,
Layla.
Yeah.
That's Layla. Because that was like a path that we could theorize about and follow.
Yeah, that the main character.
Whereas this, we just have not even the full seed of another theory given to us. We're given these events that happen in lifetime, and that's it. And so, I don't know, there's not a lot of wiggle room for theorizing.
No, I guess that makes it a very interesting story mechanic too, because it makes it, since it is the same day over and over again, there isn't really room to theorize. It's like we're just getting little bits of info on the same day. So
yeah,
I don't
but
know,
we're
it's hard.
looking at the same events through different, not even all the same events, because this is the first time we go on the hunt.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
we didn't even know that
Stanwin
Stanwin was, dead after
Moited?
5 p.m.
Yeah.
Until this point, or whenever
Yeah.
it was that it happens out there. Just before dinner, so I assume it's around 5 or something like that. So, we're getting more clues, and we're getting more perspectives, and we're seeing new events and things like that. Just somehow, none of them branch off into different ideas.
No, yeah.
That's what's so weird about it to me.
It's because all the personalities of this guy suck.
Right.
Everybody sucks in this book.
Right. I think the only ones that were really worthwhile from an analytical standpoint were Ravencourt and now Dance.
Yeah.
Darby was useful just because, he had drive, or not even drive, but he wasn't afraid to do things.
Mm-hmm.
Like chase after the footman at the end there.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's almost frustrating.
Yeah.
If it wasn't just enjoyable.
Yeah. I mean, it's very well done. I know I've said that 100 times already by now, but yeah. No. Like you said, it's very enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, cool. Yeah. You want to, I guess we're just reading the last little bit for this week?
Yep. Last 20 chapters. Just finish it off. I don't think there's an epilogue. If there is, read that too.
Read it, yeah.
Just finish whatever it is that's left. I'm pretty sure it's just, chapters 41 through 60.
Yeah, man. I can't wait. I think we still have a lot of action to go. I mean, like I said, this whole time we were reading, it was just, I didn't want to stop just because I didn't feel like I wanted to have a big chunk of new info, and I just felt like I just got a bunch more interesting story.
Right.
Which is cool, but it's like...
It's something that may be anything.
Yeah, it's like I just want to know the answer, I guess. I want to know the end.
There was also another thing that Gold says whenever he wakes up Dance at like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Where he says there's 2 of them.
Uh-huh. Yeah. What's that?
Talking about the footman. So maybe the footman does change bodies between 2 different, footmen. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Because he was just saying a bunch of things. He was just raving. He was like, don't get out of the carriage. He doesn't stop cutting. You're going to want to get out of the carriage. Don't get out of the carriage. Don't tell him anything. You're going to want to tell him things, but don't tell him anything because he doesn't stop anyways. Mm-hmm. Also, there's 2 of them. He's just saying like a bunch of shit, So who knows what any of it means if he's even talking the whole time about the footman.
Yeah, it could just be a manipulation tactic.
Possibly. I mean, he had all the... We know that's Aiden. Or at least where it's, being given very strongly that it's Aiden.
For sure.
We can't definitively say it until we get there.
Right.
Anna's defending him, though, saying get away from him. That's, Aiden until... Because she didn't know that it was going to be Dance that was going to be his day 6. So the Gold is Aiden. Never mind. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
We got 20 chapters to find out, so...
Yeah, let us know what you think. Give us some ideas for another book at ears_stamps, dogearsandtimestamps@gmail.com. And just read along, and you know how to find us on all the different podcast platforms. Mm-hmm. Leave us a 5-star and rate and review. Subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Yeah. Ring that bell. What are all the other things that annoying YouTubers say?
Ooh, ring the bell. That's a good one. It's proven that generosity makes you a happier person.
I remember you telling me that. That's
if you're feeling generous and you like and subscribe to our podcast, it's a guarantee that you will be happier. So
nice.
Take my word for it.
All right. We'll see you all next week. I'm Will Hedrick.
I'm Jordan Schaffer.
This is Dog Ears and Timestamps. Go USA.